When your ethics outgrow your religion. Dogma is a set of principles that claim authority and demand obedience without question. Conscience is the inner awareness that whispers from a place beyond the rules, guiding not by decree but by recognition of love. Dogma says, do this or else. Conscience says, see this and remember. One speaks in threats, the other in invitations. The Course in Miracles never uses the word dogma, morality, or ethics, because those are the domain of behavior and the body. What it does say is that guilt is the ego's chosen weapon, and dogma is the institutional form that guilt takes. To trap the mind, you do not need chains, you only need rules declared absolute and beyond question. Dogma always begins with, we know. Conscience begins with, I am shown. Dogma hardens belief into a wall. Conscience melts fear into recognition. When you obey dogma, you inherit someone else's fear. When you listen to conscience, you remember your own innocence. The ego loves dogma because it freezes thought in the past. The spirit speaks through conscience because it lives only in the present. You can see the split. Dogma belongs to institutions, councils, and authorities. Conscience belongs to the quiet decision-maker within. A Course in Miracles says guilt is always unnatural thinking. That is why dogma produces guilt. It forces unnatural thinking about love. It makes you believe that love can be legislated, controlled, or withdrawn. Conscience does the opposite. It undoes guilt by reminding you that love is what you are. Dogma punishes. Conscience forgives. Dogma condemns differences. Conscience translates differences into opportunities to extend love. Religion in its fearful form tells you what to do and threatens you if you disobey. The Holy Spirit tells you what is true and reminds you that you can never lose it. When your ethics outgrow your religion, what really happened is that the voice of conscience became louder than the voice of fear. The Course says, seek not to change the world, but choose to change your mind about the world. Dogma tries to change the world by enforcing rules. Conscience changes the mind by offering perception correction. Dogma says, here are the boundaries of truth. Conscience says, truth has no boundaries. Dogma creates insiders and outsiders, saints and sinners, saved and condemned. Conscience knows no such divisions because love does not divide. Think of dogma as a stone tablet carved in threats. Think of conscience as living water that refreshes everything it touches. Dogma must be defended. Conscience cannot be attacked. Dogma says salvation comes through compliance. Conscience says salvation is already yours because you were never lost. The Course in Miracles reminds us, there is no case against a child of God. Dogma builds cases. Conscience dismisses them. The trap of dogma is that it asks you to surrender freedom to an authority outside yourself. The freedom of conscience is that it returns authority to the voice of God within. One leads to guilt, the other to release. One leads to shame, the other to peace. One silences questions, the other welcomes them. And here is the deepest truth. Conscience is not really about right and wrong at all, but about whether you remember love or forget it. Right and wrong live in the duality of the ego. Love lives in the unity of spirit. Dogma is the ego's substitute for truth. Conscience is the spirit's reminder of truth. And when the two seem to clash, it is only a signal that dogma is being mistaken for God. For God has no dogma. God is only love. When you feel trapped, ask, is this my conscience speaking, or is this someone's dogma trying to use guilt against me? The answer will be clear, because conscience never attacks. It never frightens. It only reminds. Dogma says, obey me and you will be safe. Conscience says, you are safe already. And that difference is everything. So when your ethics outgrow your religion, when your conscience becomes louder than the rules, do not be afraid. It is not rebellion. It is remembrance. It is the mind coming home to the one teacher who never imposed a law, but only extended a love without opposite. That is not dogma. That is truth.